Bitcoin has broken above all-time highs and the unstoppable rampage is seeming to continue. Now, with Bitcoin moving upwards above all-time highs, we've entered something called price discovery, meaning we've never been this high before, and hence we have no historical data to predict where we will go next. However, there are some methods we can use to predict the future price action, and one of those methods is predicting a major resistance block at around $80,000. So in this video, we'll look into that, and then we'll relate it back to the overall macro trends and discuss what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. It's very important, and it's very much to do with what we talk about today. Ladies and gentlemen, the next two videos are going to be very, very important, but this video is very important as well for context, so let's get into it.
Okay guys, before we get into the content, let's check out a few things. We're currently running a sale on VIP, a limited time sale, so check that out. You can find the sale info in the description below, in the Telegram group below. We do altcoin trading signals in the VIP group. We also have access to a 24/7 group chat with 130 members, so check that out if you're interested. Then we've got the BingX and BitGet exchanges. BingX is global non-KYC. BitGet is global KYC minus the USA. Both are very low in trading fees. Both have my referral links down below for a further 15% trading fee discount for life. Check those links out down below if you're interested in those exchanges. And then finally, the Crypto Academy's Become a Trader 10-unit course is running a bull market sale. If you want to learn how to trade, that's where you can do it. Check out the website for all the information. Guys, let's get into the content today. Guys, Bitcoin's broken all-time highs. It's happened, it's occurred properly, not like the little break we had the other week or last week. No. We've properly broken above all-time highs. We look at the level, that was the all-time high around 69K on Bitcoin right here. Look where we are, we've edged right above it with a nice clean daily candle close. Bang! Big daily candle close, stemming from 69K all the way to 72K. We're pushing on the doorstep of 73K right now. Bitcoin has done this pretty well, pretty strongly, pretty preemptively, to be honest, because we look back in previous cycles, right? This is where it gets interesting. If we look back in previous cycles and we look what it took to break all-time highs, for example, we look at 2017 through to 2020, we see the all-time high was there at 20K. We zoom into what happened at 2020. We went up to that level. We started seeing headwinds just upon approaching it, before even touching it, really. And we saw that basically from the first time we got the first headwind, which is around here, it took about 22 days full of like corrections, consolidation to get above it, and we finally did get above it. We skyrocketed. We continue the bull market to the upside. If we look at the cycle before that in 2014, okay, we go ahead and take a look there. We mark the all-time high at 1,100. From the first time we tested that all-time high to properly get above it, it took about 100 days. So in 2017 it took about 100 days. In 2020 it took about 22 days, just under a month. This time, from when we first got to the all-time high region, it only took, okay, 6 or 7 days to get above that level. So we're moving above all-time highs much faster than 2017, and even a lot faster than 2020. Okay, so this is a pretty good sign of strength for Bitcoin, considering as well that the all-time high in 2021 wasn't as straightforward as the all-time high that was briefly put out in 2017, right? You have to remember, guys, the 2013 all-time high and the 2017 all-time high were very quick. You went up, you went down. There was no building resistance in that price region. Throughout 2021, the whole bull market virtually occurred in that price region, building resistance, and it just meant absolutely nothing for Bitcoin this time. The buying pressure is just too strong. We have broken above that level with virtually no proper resistance whatsoever, just brief resistance. Within a week it was gone. And if you zoom out the actual overall trend right now, you could barely even notice that's where the all-time high was. You'd be more inclined to say, if you didn't have a scale, that was the all-time high here. So Bitcoin's done exceptionally well. The parabolic move is continuing. This is, in my opinion, what a parabolic move looks like. We've seen in the past, less than 2 months. It's actually insane if you think about it. The past a month and a half, Bitcoin has moved upwards 89%. It's just absolutely insane how quickly Bitcoin is moving right now. But now the question is this, right? Because Bitcoin's broken above all-time highs. We're in price discovery now, which means we've never been this high before on Bitcoin. There are a few problems, a few things that happen when you break all-time highs that are a little bit suboptimal as an analyst. We enter something called price discovery. Now, price discovery, as I just explained, is when you're above the prior all-time high. You've never been this high before. We're in price discovery mode. Bitcoin is constantly making new highs. And so we have no historical data for this price region. We've never been in this price region before. Therefore, we have no idea where the resistance is, no idea where the support is. We actually don't know much. So yeah, the positive is Bitcoin's going upwards. That's awesome. We're making money. The negative is now we're in the dark completely because we actually don't know really where our next stops are. We don't know where the next resistance are based on traditional TA methods like horizontal levels. Right now, we can look at other things though, and this is what I'm basing this video for. This video is going to be a quick video. It's actually something that Megawell Crypto just made a video on, and I looked at that just before making this, but I was looking at this yesterday. We broke all-time highs. It's a very basic method when you're trying to determine what's going to happen after price discovery. It's using measured moves, right? So there's a few things you can do in price discovery. There's Fibonacci. Okay, there's using diagonal lines, and then there's measured moves. Now, measured moves, in my opinion, are probably going to be the most insightful. I don't necessarily like using Fib that much unless it's on a macro scale, but look, here's what I'll do. I'll show you something very important right now that shows you where I think Bitcoin is going to go next. And I'm going to line it up with something I'm going to be discussing tomorrow. So let's get into it, right? So, Bitcoin, if we're talking about measured moves, we need to understand what we're measuring. In my opinion, the best macro measured move we can take on Bitcoin is the measured move between here and this yellow line. Why is that a good macro measured move to take? Now, I'll explain this all right now. We've got these yellow lines on the screen. You've probably seen this yellow line before. I've drawn it in many videos. It is a resistance line that forms over and over again in every cycle. It is a line that is formed during the dead cat bounce of the bear market. And if you extend it right across, which is why it's horizontal, you will see it's also where we reject from briefly before going upwards into a parabolic market. It happened in 2016, happened in 2019. It happened briefly here in 2024. This line, these yellow lines are also cross-validated and shown to be connected intercyclically. Not intercyclically, that's not a word. They're shown to be connected on an intercycle basis based on the RSI as well. So you can see that every time we reach this yellow line for resistance in the middle of the cycle, for example, here in 2019, here in 2016, and here just a couple of months ago in 2024, we test 67 on the monthly chart RSI, okay? Every time that's happened. So these lines, these yellow lines, are all connected to each other, which means they all give a pretty good data point for intercycle measurements, measured moves, stuff like that. So what they actually form is a cup formation. Cup formation, cup formation, cup formation. And what you see on cup formations is cup formations have a neckline. Now, the neckline to each of these cup formations is the yellow line. Now, what we can do with cup formations when they have a neckline is you can take a measured move from the bottom of the cup to the neckline and apply it to the neckline breakout, and that is going to be your measured move. Now, we shouldn't be doing it on the logarithmic chart necessarily. We should be doing it on linear, but I'm going to do it on both for the sake of the video, okay? Because it's a macro resistance level. It's a macro cup formation that's formed every cycle, so I think we can apply it on logarithmic as well as linear and see where it brings us. So on logarithmic, what does it do? In 2016, it gave us a target, as you can see, of around this level here. It didn't really work that well in 2016, although that target, to be fair, was something we bounced off for support. It was also something that, led to the rough region of a 2019 bottom. It's something that led to a retest during the COVID drop, so it is valid to a certain extent, but overall measured moves aren't meant to be perfectly precise, so we'll leave that in there for a second. In 2019, however, it was very useful, because in 2019, what it did, if we take the measured move from the bottom of the cup to the neckline and apply it to the breakout point, it actually predicted the all-time high on Bitcoin. Now, that's huge, right? If we see where it predicted, measured move took us to around 67K, all right? It literally predicted the all-time high on Bitcoin, this cup formation breakout. What that shows us is that, well, this has validity. This is good, because we can use it again this cycle. Now, if we take our measured move from this cycle, from the bottom of the cup to the neckline of the cup, okay, and apply it to the breakout point, where does it target? It targets around $150,000 for Bitcoin. That could be where Bitcoin is going in this bull market, okay? That's a little bit too speculative, and that is the logarithmic chart, but it's interesting. It's worth looking at, and I'll continue to look at that throughout this bull market, I think, because the fact that it perfectly predicted the top in 2019 is quite amazing, and the fact that in 2016 it predicted the COVID drop bottom and also roughly the bottom of 2018, I think that's interesting as well, although it didn't predict the top, so, who knows. But realistically, the logarithmic chart should be set aside for a second. Realistically, when we're looking at neckline breakouts, what we should be looking at is actually the linear chart. So let's look at that right now. So on the linear chart, if we are taking a measured move from the bottom of the cup, okay, to the neckline of the cup and applying it to the breakout point, which we did break recently, where does it target for Bitcoin? It targets around 80,000 US dollars, right? And based on that target, and based on the fact we're in price discovery, I would expect around $80,000 to be the next major resistance zone for Bitcoin that we should be retesting. And here's where it gets very interesting, okay? Well, look, that's already very interesting. $80,000 is the next major target for Bitcoin to be targeting based on that cup formation, which has worked quite well in the past. So I think that's important alone, and that's very much worth its own video. But in tomorrow's video, what I'm going to be looking at is Crypto Crew University's bull market prediction. Now, Crypto Crew University made a bull market prediction saying that Bitcoin will top out in this bull market at around 79k and then enter a 10-year bear market. I've made 2 separate debunking videos on that claim. I disagree with that claim, but as we approach 79,000 and as this cup formation targets 79,000, it's something I need to look into again and assess again. So in tomorrow's video, you can expect a video on Crypto Crew University's 79k top prediction. I actually don't know if he still holds that prediction. I don't watch his content. I'm just aware of his one predictive formula that predicts 79k. Perhaps someone in the comments can let me know if he actually still holds that prediction or link me to a video in which he discusses it most recently. But I will be looking at that because the theory that he uses does hold a degree of validity. Obviously, it has a lot of problems, as why I've made 2 debunk videos in the past. But as we approach that level, of course, it needs to be looked at once again. So right now, according to this cup formation measure move target, the next major resistance zone is around 80k. I hope you found this video useful as Bitcoin enters a pretty much parabolic stage of a cycle. If you look at historically, right, you know, what has Bitcoin done historically? Let's go to the logarithmic chart. When we break all-time highs, that's when it really gets started, guys. That's when we really start ramping upwards. You know, all of the move before all-time highs is generally a gradual incline, but when we break all-time highs, that's when it really starts to maximize and the angle of trajectory really increases. Same thing in 2020. Angle of trajectory just spikes upwards when we break all-time highs. So if we're following anything we did in the last couple of cycles, which as of right now, we are deviating quite massively, but if we are going to follow some of the things we did in the last cycles, this is where, you know, the angle of trajectory should just continue at this incline. And of course, you know, corrections are going to occur. You know, in every single bull market, we've seen corrections. To be honest, right now is probably the longest we've gone without a significant correction for a long time, right? You know, even looking at 2017, the corrections were constant. Huge correction, 30%, 30%, 40%, 30%, 20%, you know, all the way up we had corrections. So we'll have to wait and see, but I think if we do see corrections, it's not really something to be scared about. The fact of the matter is Bitcoin is in a bull market. We've broken all-time highs. We're approaching the halving. Everything's looking great. 80k is the next target. I'll discuss Crypto Crew University's prediction tomorrow, which is actually turning out to be one of the bear cases right now as we approach that target. So guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Check out, again, the closing down sale on the VIP group. We're closing the group next year in April. So you've still got a long time to you know, take advantage of that group. The sale's on currently. We're never going to have a sale like that again. Check it out if you want trading signals. We've then got BingX and BitGet, 2 very good exchanges, never been hacked before, low trading fees. My links are down below for 15% trading fee discounts. And finally, if you want to learn how to trade, you can do it on the Crypto Academy's Become a Trader 10-unit course. Guys, check all of that out. Thanks for watching. Cheers.